Hello, my name is Nayelin, and right now I want to talk about what is family constellations therapy and how this therapy can help to recover your feminine power. Okay, family constellations is a therapy that approach all these hidden patterns that are coming from past generations. It's pretty much an ancestral healing, but in a different way. So, family constellation was created back in 1970s, or the therapy was like putting together through Bert Hellinger. And family constellations can help you to resolve things that are secrets. Uh, it's able to show a lot of stuff that you wouldn't even be able to see in another way. So it is a way of healing, and in order to this healing to happen, there is something that is called the orders of love. Okay, and the first order of love is that we all belong to the lineages in the hierarchy. What I'm talking about is it doesn't matter if you were born or not, like an abortion, a miscarriage. If you are a good or a bad person, or the same in the past, we all have a place in the lineages. When somebody doesn't have a place in the lineages, it's like somebody's missing, and then the same energy of the lineages that we belong, they start looking for that. So that could be the reason why, if somebody in the past couldn't connect with the feminine power because it was like a war, a battle, or people were killing a woman, and then you somehow are in a different situation, your life is not in risk, but somehow you cannot connect with your feminine power. And it's because you bond with somebody in the past that suffered a lot just because it was a woman. Okay. And then you are trying so hard right now to connect with your feminine power. But even though you do whatever you can, it's just not happening. It could be because it doesn't belong to you. So we need to see to who belong that feeling, and just to be able to see it and say, I see you, and I am your descendants. But I cannot carry this for you because even if I do it, it doesn't help you at all. I give it this back to you, this feeling. But look at me. I am your descendants. Thank you for passing the life. Okay? So we all have the right to belong. And the hierarchy means we all have to be in order. What it means is, if I am the number, if my parents tell me, oh, you are the number one, but before me they had like 3 abortions, I'm not the number one, I'm the number 4. And if they put me in a place that doesn't belong to me, they're putting me in the place of dead. So probably I'm gonna be depressed, I'm not gonna understand life, and I'm not gonna feel good because I'm not in my place. Family constellations doesn't make any judgment about what happened. It's just giving a place to everything that happened. Okay? All those feelings that were not good, that they didn't feel good, all the exclusion. Exclusion makes things to repeat. Okay? It's like when we have resistance that it keeps repeating, it's the same thing with exclude. When we exclude something or somebody, and then that keeps repeating until we can give a place to something like that. So the second order of love is the bond. Okay, so somehow we always act the way we have to do it in order to belong to a certain group of people. Yeah, I don't know. If you work in an office, you maybe have some codes to wear in order to belong to that. Or if you go to any religion or any practice, we all do those things. We act and learn things in order to belong to that place. And we are so scared to not being able to belong that we repeat stuff. In the case of the lineages, what we do is, for me to be able to be part of my family, if they have like any illness that it's like diabetes or stuff like that, you can say like, okay, so I eat very healthy, but for me to be one of them, I'm gonna have diabetes anyways. Or I am in a different situation, but because all the women in my family, they have been suffering, and then I'm gonna suffer. Maybe not the same way, but I will be suffer because I wanna belong to my lineages. Of course, it's very unconscious. You wouldn't imagine anything like that. So you can bond with your mom and your dad and carry their stuff, or you can bond with somebody else in the past, so many back in the generations in the past. So what we do there is just like to be able to observe that and say like, hey, I give you this because it doesn't belong to me. And I know that I will always belong to this family, even if I do it differently. We don't do things better, okay? We just do different things. And then the third order of love is the equilibrium. And the equilibrium is very interesting for me because we can only give what we could take. So as I understood or hear that phrase before, it was I can only give what I can receive, right? Something like that, like giving and receiving. But in this case of family constellation says I can just give whatever I could take. So um, what we are talking about is sometimes our childhood was so hard. Maybe we didn't get to know our mom or our dad because the story that we have, that we are not grateful because they passed the life to us. We hate them. We don't like them. Always they're like, oh, my poor dad or my poor mom. So we don't see them as something bigger that create us together, right? So when I feel upset to my mom, I feel upset at myself because I'm made by her. And when I feel upset at my dad, I feel the same thing to me because I am the mix of both of them, even if I didn't see them at least once in my life, right? So my information, my ADN, my DNA, and everything that it's me, it's just them. So family constellations do not invalidate anything that happened in the past. Of course, it was hard. That's why we're suffering. But what we do is just reconcile and take the things the way they were because there is nothing that can change the past. And it doesn't mean go and be your mom's best friend, your dad's best friend, or no. What it means is be grateful for the life you have. If you are grateful with the life you have, even though the story, and then you're going to be able to put boundaries, and then you're going to be able to see the value of yourself. Sometimes we're working so hard and see the value of ourselves and feeling good enough. But it doesn't matter how much we do because we don't want to work with them, right? And because we don't want to work with them, it's just like everything we do is good for a moment and then we come back to be the same person that it's upset or angry or doesn't feel good enough, doesn't feel good or doesn't, whatever. So what we do is just take the life that they pass to us and we recognize ourselves as their daughter or their son, okay? And sometimes we are carrying their stuff. As an example is one day a woman told me that she was very sad because her mom told her that when she was pregnant of her, the doctor said the baby probably will be sick, and the mom was very scared of that and had the thought of had an abortion. Okay, and the mom told her, and she was feeling not good enough, and she was feeling like she didn't deserve to be here because her mom was suffering. And then from the family constellation's perspective is okay, those feelings are yours or are your mom's feelings? She was like, oh, it will. I mean, what I mean is, it was you who was feeling that way, or it was your mom who was feeling that way. It was your mom who was feeling scared. It was your mom who has those thoughts about you getting in the life, getting birth. And she said, like, oh, those were my mom's. I'm like, well, just give it back to her. Because even though she has all those thoughts, she passed a life to you. So we are the majority of the time against our parents, like, oh, she did this, she thought that, she didn't want me, she didn't love me. And we don't see the result that is like whatever that happened or thought or you are here. So just we have to be able to see our mom and our dad as a regular people, not as a virgin, is a saint, just as a regular people that has depths, that has emotions, that has like their own story, feelings. And I've been able to say like, okay, I give this back to you, mom, because what this woman was trying to do was trying to carry all the guilt that the mom was carrying on because she had that thought so many years ago. And I was like, imagine us, she was pregnant, hormones were all over the place. And your mom is free to feel whatever she wants to feel. give back to her that feeling because she's the only one that can fix it. And take the life that she passed to you. And of course, it means we are not alone. The ancestors are here. The information is here. And so how they help us. You see it and release it. I was not able to enjoy her being a woman, her being alive, her being alive. So when she was able to give that thoughts and that feelings to her mom, she can take the life. She can start loving herself. She can start seeing the value of life in herself. Right? So, and then the fourth order of love is there are so many things happening all the time. Like I'll say this world, there's always horrible things happening because humans, because we do horrible things, because other people do horrible things, because there are natural disasters, because a lot of things are happening all the time. But we don't really know why those things are happening. And even if we get upset and we get resistance to see what is happening, it doesn't change anything. So we surrender. And we're able to see what is happening. So the orders of love can help us to be you and be able to decide the way you want to live. But you are not going to be able to change if you are still upset with your parents. It doesn't matter how old you are. You are the same kid waiting for your mom and your dad to see you and to approve you and to be proud of you. And sometimes that is not going to happen. And just because it's not going to happen, it doesn't mean that you have to be sad or upset or angry at yourself for the rest of your life. Your parents pass you their life, and it's what matters. And if you're able to say, like, thank you for my life, and whatever else you need, you learn it. So if you didn't feel love when you were a kid, you take the life, and then you say, okay, I'll start loving myself now. Whatever you didn't do, any abuse, anything that you received that you didn't make or do, doesn't belong to you. So you keep it back, or you give it to the person that gave it to you, or that, make the action on you. Because you can only fix what you did, but you cannot fix what others did. Okay, so that is a concept or a brief explanation of what family constellations is. If you feel like you want to find out more about it, and then you can go to my website, www.nayelin.com, and you can always reach to me, and of course we can have an individual session. I do group sessions. I'm located here in San Diego, but I also work online. So thank you so much for seeing this video, and subscribe.